She worked 7 days straight, took a nap, and never woke up again. I just want to tell y'all that being overworked is not a flex. Burnout is very real.
I remember this story about a woman who was very successful, and we say successful because her business made a lot of money. But when she said she finally needed a break, the following day she passed away. How do you enjoy the fruits of your labor when you're hustling so hard that when it is time to sit down, when it is time to vacation or take a break, your body just is like, I'm done. You have hustled me out. The balance. I talked about this in a previous video about work-life balance. Is there really a balance? Take a look at this video. I'm going to add it here.
She worked 7 days straight, took a nap, and never woke up again. I just want to tell y'all that being overworked is not a flex. Burnout is very real. I see a lot of ladies talking about, I clock in more than I hang out. I work this many doubles. I work this many days straight. Y'all, it's not a flex. I know that life is hard and I know that everything is high, but y'all, this is heartbreaking. And I can identify with this because this was me. I worked so many doubles. But y'all, it wasn't a flex. It put anxiety, depression, you're tired, your body is wore out, you need rest. We just got to go ahead and admit that the money does not add up to all of the bills and your living. We don't have it like that, so we have to do all of those hours of working and everything, and that's just work. That doesn't have anything to do with raising the kids and all the other things that life throws at you.
You know, sometimes people work so hard and don't even see the fruits of their labor. What would happen if you had less of a desire to hustle, to grind, to work really hard, to try to get to the upper echelon or the top of the mountain, whatever it is that you are looking to achieve? What if you decided to desire less? Not be complacent, but just desire less than what it is that you think that you need to have, or you want to have, I should say, because our desires are our wants most of the time, not necessarily our needs. I was watching this video. You know, this is making me think about my previous videos where I talked about keeping up with the Joneses and luxury poverty and things like that. These are all because of our desires, that we want these things, that we want luxury items, that we want designer bags, that we want these things. We desire it because we have been either influenced to get it, or it's just something that we want to achieve in our lives to say that we made it. So I made it and now I can get me this Mercedes or this luxury bag or whatever. I made it to the penthouse. What the Jeffersons say? Moving on up. Moving up. But yeah, I just thought the conversation was very interesting. So thank you, Jack Morgan. I'm subscribed to his channel. Check him out. He's always talking about something very interesting. And the guy's video that he was watching was talking about low desire society. And some of the things he was saying, they were resonating with me, and they probably will resonate with you. Check this out.
Have you noticed that ambition and hustle doesn't exactly turn anyone on anymore? And we used to worship that stuff, right? The grind was our religion. And people would brag about sleeping only 3 hours a night like it was a war medal or something. And they'd post their 4 a.m. productivity screenshots like they were climbing Everest in a spreadsheet. And now everyone just looks like they need a very long nap and the permission to quit permanently. So it appears there's a seismic shift underway where people are transitioning from rise and grind to I can't remember why I got out of bed, but here I am, I guess. Now, I'm not saying we've given up entirely. Of course not. But I am saying there's something almost spiritual about how we've collectively realized that wanting less might be the only rebellion left that doesn't require a podcast about it.
Wanting less might be the only rebellion that we have. And we can see that today with a lot of people saying that they are not spending, saying that they are boycotting. Wanting less and spending less may be the only rebellion against this type of society where we are, and now a capitalistic, commercialized, consumer driven society where we see a commercial every 5 seconds about what we should buy next, what everybody needs next, what's trending, what's going on. But as he said, a seismic shift is on the way. If that is the case, regardless of what we just saw with these Black Friday numbers and the people saying those numbers could be false. Wait for the next quarter's financial, you'll see a difference. And this is why they have extended the sales. They made the sale prior to Black Friday even happening. They've made the sale after Cyber Monday has happened. Things are continuing to go on because they need more money.
So the Japanese have a term for this. Te Yukobo Shagai, the low desire society. And Kenichi Omai wrote about this.
I have to stop because I just saw this comment pop up and it says, we sell our days hour by hour only for survival and food. That's soul crushing. And everybody wants to be happy, right? Everybody wants to do something that makes them happy. But a lot of times we are just sacrificing, right? We're sacrificing in this current moment because we need to survive. We do have to pay our bills. We do have to pay our taxes. We do have to do all of these things. In order to survive, we need to work. But when work isn't satisfying, it becomes tough.
He described it as a culture where people just stopped wanting. They're not chasing the dream anymore because they looked at the dream in horror after realizing it was a coffin disguised as a penthouse. Ooh. So instead,
the dream, this American dream or whatever dream you have, wherever you're watching this, and you realize that those dreams were a coffin disguised as a penthouse. The metaphor in itself is crazy. Like, it just makes you think. And I was watching these luxury penthouse videos recently where people were saying that the luxury ain't luxury and the penthouses are not what they claim to be. The dream is not real.
Trading ambition for equilibrium. And they're swapping that corner office for not having a panic attack in the parking lot.
Ooh. And if you've worked in corporate America, you understand exactly what he's talking about. That corner office comes with so much stress. When you leave work and you just sit in your car and you try to decompress because it was too much. Why are you doing all of that? Not even the owner of the company, but you got a corner office, but you also got stress. Stress that you do not need. All work comes with stress. I get it. But sometimes things can be very overwhelming for no reason at all. This is interesting.
Now, if that sounds kind of beautiful to you, you're right. But if it also sounds like the opening act of societal collapse, well, you're also right. And therein lies the paradox. A society that stops wanting things might actually find peace, but it also might stop functioning. And civilization, whether we like it or not, runs on desire. That's the engine. Desire builds cities, populations, it invents Wi-Fi. You know, it makes people start podcasts at 2 a.m. that nobody asked for. Desire is why we don't all just sit in a dark room, staring at a candle, thinking, yeah, this is fine. Though, lately, a lot of people are sitting in the dark, staring at a candle, thinking, you know what, this is fine. And it's spreading. Because now you see it everywhere, especially with younger people. This quiet revolt against hustle and consumerism. The whole performance. They don't want the big house and the fancy car anymore. What they want is 8 hours of sleep. And they don't want a 6-figure salary if it's going to come with a side of cosmic dread and a boss named Lumberg who says, circle back unironically. And I completely get it. I really do. They're tired. You know, we've all seen the man behind the curtain, and it turns out he's just some guy in a hoodie trying to sell us a kilo of hopium.
Hopium.
But I think there's something maybe somewhat fragile in this new piece. Because the same impulse that makes you say, I don't need more, can very easily become, why bother at all? Why do anything?
Oh, and that can turn into a depressive mode, right? We don't need that. We don't want that. Yeah. So when you get to the point of low desire where you are not desiring anything at all, it gets to be a little bit concerning.
And that line, the one between enlightenment and apathy, it's probably thinner than you might think. You can choose less because you're full, or because you've basically given up. But at this point, most of us don't actually know which one we even are.
This is deep. This is deep. This is deep in the streets. When you think about it in a philosophical way as he's speaking, or outside of a philosophical way, you think about it more in, real terms. Depression is real, mental health issues are real, and like he said, you get to a point where you have low desire to no desire at all, which can be very concerning. A lot of times when we say that people have no desire, we say that they're in a funk, or they'll get out of it, but we don't always know that. So when he's talking about low desire, not wanting the things that we've been taught for so long to aim or to look to do or become and buy, It just changes everything about the whole society, because right now we are building on capitalism. We are building on being consumers. That's what we're building on in this society.
Know which one we even are. So, this is the age of quietly quitting. This is a term we've heard often at this point. It's clocking in, doing exactly what's required, and then clocking out. No extras, no hustle, no pretending the job is your identity. Now, at first glance, it looks something like progress, like we're finally evolving past the hamster wheel. But if you look a little closer, you start to see we're not actually choosing peace. We're retreating into it. We've hit this global burnout where even ambition feels embarrassing, where trying too hard is bad manners, and the most radical thing you can say at a party is, "Yeah, I'm content." And it's right there in the data. Declining birth rates, fewer marriages, less work, less ownership, less consumption, and on and on. And this isn't out of laziness. It's out of disinterest and probably exhaustion. Because, frankly, the juice just isn't worth the squeeze anymore. And honestly, why the hell would it be? We were all told to climb the ladder, but the ladder's missing half its rungs, and it ends at a job that doesn't even exist anymore because the building got turned into a WeWork. So naturally, people are opting out. And good for them, honestly. At least it's authentic.
People are opting out, and at least it's authentic. Quietly quitting. Have you heard that term before? I haven't heard it. Quietly quitting. So not doing more than you need to do at work. I talked about this before, about work-life balance. I'm going to put those videos down in the description. Just take a look at those videos.
At least they're saying what most of us have been secretly thinking. I don't need to conquer the world. I just want to stop feeling like I'm losing all the damn time. That's the core of the low desire society. It's not really about hating ambition. It's about realizing that ambition just doesn't love you back. And it's about developing enough self-awareness and self-respect to just say no. And that's where I think it gets a little interesting.
Wow. Quiet quitting. Just think about that. Have you ever felt like you wanted to quietly quit something? Like you may have been on a job for 10, 20 years and you like, you know what? I am doing the best that I can, or even more than the best that I can, but the recognition isn't there. So guess what? I'm going to back away from it. I am going to do less because obviously I'm not being recognized for doing more. So why stress myself out? I'm the type of person who wants to do more. I want to achieve a lot. But if it's not giving me any type of reward in the end and I am stressed for doing that, let's back it down. I'm still going to do the work, period. but it's not going to be at that same level of, stress. What do I want out of this life? Like I said, we only get one. We only get one. And we want to make the most out of it, right? Yes, we do. I hope this was informative. This was a little different. It just made me think, so I wanted to share it with you. So what are your thoughts on this whole thing overall? The low desire, the quiet quitting, the striving and the hustling and the grinding for more. Think about it in a more introspective way. All those things. Tell me what you think about that in the comments. I really would appreciate the talk. And it's not only me that's going to talk to you. There's going to be others who chime in. So I appreciate looking at the comment section here. I appreciate you. I really do. All right. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you so much for being here. I always appreciate you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.